Adolescence is a period of rapid changes. Between the ages of 12 and 17, a parent ages as much as 20 years. And if you laughed at that, you must be a parent. Then, of course, there's another classic one in which a parent cheerfully tells a teen, "Have a nice day," and the teen responds, "Don't tell me how to live my life." Teenagers, myself included, do not find such jokes funny. The thing is, I like my parents. Who says that? I love my parents, but I wish they'd be a little less intense sometimes. I'm sure you've guessed by now, this episode is about parents and teenagers. When we sent out a questionnaire for this topic, we got an overwhelming response from parents, not so much for teenagers. Here to answer a lot of those questions is Ms. Sujatha Dewaji, a certified parent educator who has done a lot of work in creating awareness around positive parenting. Welcome to the show, Ms. Sujatha. We're sure a lot of parents are waiting to hear what you have to say today.
Thank you. Happy to be here, and thank you, Aryan, for inviting me here.
Pleasure is ours.
Yeah.
So let's start with a much asked one from parents who say that while it's very tempting to step into a friend role with your teenager, does that mean letting go of the role of the parent? What is a parent's role during teenage years?
Of course, it sure is tempting to be wanting to be a friend to the teenager, because as they step into their teens, we sense them moving away from us and towards the peers. And naturally, parents want to hold on to them, And when children are small, we do not generally think about being a friend to them. I think we get the heebie-jeebies when they talk less, start doing things on their own, and we want to know more what they're doing out there, and we want to be a more of the part of their big part of their lives. So if we ask the teenager if they want their parents to be their friend, I think you'll get some mixed responses. Tweens and teens they choose their own friends. They become close to their friends. They share more with them than the parents, because I think friends just listen and are so accepting without being judgmental. And as a parent, it is very hard to be accepting without being judgmental. And why so? Because we're so concerned about many things in the child's life that it causes us anxiety and worry. And the teen finds their parents judgmental, and they shut off the communication. Actually, I would think that a teenager would have liked their parents to be friendly, approachable, when they can come, have free-flowing conversations, bounce off ideas, opinions, their worldviews, without really the fear of being slighted or judged. And when you see a behavior in your child that is bothering you, I think don't immediately jump to correct or advise. Be curious. As they form their opinions, be open to listening. Yeah, is it so? What do you think? What are you planning to do? Why do you think this has happened? So I think, the role of the parent would be first to really understand this youngster who is breaking out of their cocoon, going through puberty. Their brains are going through a lot of changes. It is getting ready to be a fully efficient adult brain. And the brain is fully developed only in the mid-20s. Surprise. And we see the changes through these adolescent period, picture yourself, or picture any teenager wanting to be free, to be independent, free to choose, making their own decisions, spending more time with friends and less time with family. I think questioning family norms and values, exploring their identity. Who am I? What am I? maybe also exploring their sexuality, their bodies, their competence, having this desire to learn, to take risks and, achieve. And then we see them bloom in this awe and shock. And we are just right there beside them, being our presence, our love for them, respect their sensibilities, in spite all these teen cockiness and brashness. So I think if behaviors are making us anxious, instead of interrogating, blaming, advising, first we observe our teenager, observe ourselves. And then again, I said, with curiosity, noticing, why is it hard for you to, in your studies, or are you curious about, what's happening out there, what is going on, what is coming in the way? Pay attention to the language we use. No instruction or top-down attitude, that they're going to be young adults soon. And they don't like to be instructed or to be told.
Yeah.
So I noticed that you're struggling with this. I'm concerned with your health. I'm worried about these long hours on screen. So can we emulate the qualities of a friend while being the guide in our child's life? More with the power, with approach, with curiosity, with empathy. I think the terrible teens phrase, is we need to scrap it out. They are terrific. And when caregivers bond and provide the emotional support, safety, as they grapple with changes in body and brain. Yeah, I think that sums it up for that question.
So essentially, be friendly but not a friend.
Yes, yes. They have not chosen us as friends. I think they choose others. Yes.
Yeah. So the next one is that a common complaint from teenagers is that their parents want them to act a certain way or be a certain way. So maybe the parents will want a certain career in the child's future. They want the child to look a certain way or dress a certain way. They want their child to go to a certain college. So how can a parent guide their child without scripting every step of the way?
I know it's so hard not to script our child's life, because that's my baby. I want the best for my, teenager.
Yeah.
However, the best thing we can do for our teenagers is to make them feel valued for who they are. We are hearing so many cases of teen harming themselves, having mental health issues. They are having so much stress due to the pressures in this competitive world. We want our children to have a good life, not to struggle, to be successful, surely. And we push them to do that because we think it is helpful for the teenager. As a child, I may have had dreams and needs not fulfilled. We may have been hurt and we struggled in our life, and we longed for support, did not get it. And so many times, we don't want that struggle, that pain or that confusion for our children, and to go through that heartache or the decisions which went awry. So, but those were our life experiences, isn't it? It was our beliefs. So I think we need to take a step back, to pause. Can we as caregivers not attach the marks, the achievements, etc., to their self-worth? We believe that if we do not push the child will not succeed. But I think that's not true, because in every child, in every adult, there is this inner drive to do well, to be better, to be motivated in something, in anything they are passionate about, they are interested in, They may be gifted in sports, music. And can we as a parent understand this each child's unique abilities, intelligences, personality, interests, being observant of their strengths, and if they're not doing the best they can, they're struggling, something is holding them back, I think we can find out what is coming in their way and help them to find what works for them. Actually, generally, we sit up when they are in high school and try to talk to them and saying, okay, these are the subjects which will be good for you. This line of work will be good for you. But I think the conversations can come earlier about different kinds of jobs, the work, maybe introduce them to people or experts to have conversations with them, even friends coming home to ask them to share, to ask them about their jobs and get them to meet, our banker or our doctor. Give them opportunities to understand different kinds of work, discuss pros, cons, share information in college, career. I think nowadays teenagers have a lot going for them because they have this many paths that they can take, whatever is passionate for them.
So essentially what you're saying is that a parent should let a child make mistakes and then learn from those mistakes rather than, pushing a child in a certain way.
Yeah.
Uh,
Making mistakes, and we get scared that they're making mistakes. We are sometimes we are protective because we don't want them to fail. However, those are, as you know, the age that is a stepping stone to learning more, and then they learn to make their own decisions. Small decisions. If we give them through the years, when the time comes to make big decisions, I think they'll be very comfortable making them.
So, uh, a way that I've heard this put is that you should guide your child to the road to success rather than paving it for them.
Wow, lovely. Yes, I second that.
Now, a lot of teenagers hear this, and it's that we have it easier compared to previous generations. Now, some people say that we have it harder than previous generations. Some say that the previous generations have it harder. What would you say? Is it easier or is it harder being a teenager in 2022?
It is natural that we compare. I can compare my teenagehood to the current one, and everyone has their perspective on what aspects were tough for them and what's easier now. Because you can really have some factual, aspects of what is easier. Yes, accessibility to information, learning, how they stay in touch with family and friends, freedom to express and choose, expressing their identity in their appearance, sexuality, voicing their opinions, choosing their partner. Oh my God, I can go on. About previous generation didn't have these due to maybe strict parenting control or family pressures. We didn't have that means to do so. And this generation also has less stigma around mental health issues. I've I've heard so many parents being open to helping their children with it. Otherwise, earlier it used to be kept under wraps or lied as a physical ailment. Now, with a variety of interdisciplinary subjects in educational fields, work prospects to choose from, better lifestyle, easy travel. I think there are a lot of points that it's easier for them. However, the flip side is they have it tougher because of the perils of technology. The social media has impacted youngsters so much. Their minds, so much information, so much of consumerism, instant gratification. There's so much more stress, more pressure. I don't know. Is it too much exposure too soon? There is fear of missing out, FOMO, and there is mystery of missing out, why I was not invited, peer pressure. Sorry. Yeah, I thought he was saying something.
Oh no, sorry.
No.
I was
Yeah.
agreeing with you.
And, they live in a very achievement-oriented world. And through all this social media, there's body shaming, the pressure to look good. They sure have it tough too. Parents can share what they have gone through, or about their lives, their generation. I've said it. Oh, the Doordarshan was the only channel for my entertainment, and now we all have 100 channels to choose from. We travel so long for school and college. You have it just so easy.
Yeah.
And then there is this comical look on my kids' faces, and they say, and with utter disbelief, that they cannot comprehend what I'm saying. So it is like two different worlds. And I would like to just bring this point that in 2016, there was this phrase coined called Generation Snowflake, which was added to Collins' English dictionary to describe adults born from 1990 to 1980, to 1994, who were less resilient and more prone to taking offenses than previous generation. It is too soon to judge them as entitled, weak, or self-centered, or that they, and it doesn't help anyone to create this gap between generations. Seems like an us versus them scenario. So can there be any standard to measure each generation's hardiness or resilience? Our teenagers are going through the present times, and it's their reality. They have coped through the pandemic, and they need our support to build their resilience and mental health. It's lovely to just sit, talk, feel the pulse of how they feel, observe their way of being, how they perceive their demanding school or college, their friends, their peers.
Exactly.
Teenagers, I mean, have it like, how is it for them that they've gone through the day? Some days are easy, some days are tough. Each generation, I think, is a product of their times, and all are striving with the resources they have.
Exactly. It's unhealthy to frame it as one generation is better than another.
Yeah, yes.
Because how would one objectively measure that?
True.
So it's, we all have our struggles for each generation.
Yes.
Which we all exaggerate when we tell our children about them.
Yeah, I think glorifying the past and not being in the present with them.
One of the parents in the questionnaire asked, what should parents do when they don't approve of their teenagers' friends? And that's quite a big question. So we thought we'd leave it to you.
When teens step into this adolescent period, that's their whole and soul of the peers are their whole and soul.
Hmm.
And so important in the teen's life that Dan Siegel, he's an educator and author of Brainstorm and many other books written on the brain and about teenagers, says that it feels like a matter of life and death, that for the teenager to be wanting to be with their peers. Their
Hmm.
brains are getting wired in such a way to be attached with their peers. And it's the evolution that they move away from parents.
Hmm. Of course.
This is the period that they're learning social skills, which help them to build supportive relationships in the future, which
Hmm.
is the key. Again, I come to mental health, well being, happiness, and longevity. The teen years is a time that they're seeking out in a group, and where will I fit in? They
Hmm.
go in and out of groups looking for that, fitting, that jigsaw puzzle piece that needs to be somewhere right.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they go through quite a lot of heartache when they're not accepted.
Hmm.
And there are romantic links too, which happen along the way, and
Yes.
they go through a lot of emotions. A parent shared how her daughter felt when her two best friends fell in love, and she became the odd one out. And it was so much of pain and anger, lashing out, shutting off in the room,
Hmm.
and they become so low, thinking that I do not have anyone. At such times, I think parents can be that real scaffolding to be there for their
Yeah.
child, to be observant. Really, what's different now in my child's life? Just giving them our presence, not saying what to do, how to do,
Hmm.
advice. That's not the time for advice. Just listen, acknowledge what they're going through. Well, I can imagine how hard it can be to
Hmm.
be in that. And I know how confused you may be. Saying this really validates their feelings. And in this roller coaster ride, they may make choices that we think is inappropriate, that we disapprove. And one really vital thing is to know that teenagers are so sensitive to criticism. They themselves are confused, they are looking out for answers. And then when we criticize, it's just they shut out from
Hmm.
us and they don't even listen then. Then we can't get through them.
Hmm.
They will hide, uh, they may lie,
Hmm.
may meet others outside without us knowing. And so if we want to keep that connection and influence our child, it is imperative we avoid criticizing and judging about their friends, about what they do with them.
Hmm.
Yes, we need to be vigilant. Okay, what is this hours together closed in the room? What is happening? Maybe
Hmm.
have knowing that, but not overtly being suspicious or interrogating or even asking so much like, oh my gosh, he bunked classes and he was in the cafe. I think you shouldn't interact with him. I'm
Hmm.
I'm seeing how she's influencing your dress sense. You know, uh, yeah, that we get off on the wrong foot with them. You
Yeah.
know, we don't do this in our family. So judgmental that is.
Hmm.
When we come from that fixed mindset, we are not really helping our children. A
Hmm.
mindset of curiosity, maybe casually asking about friends, show interest, inviting friends home,
Hmm.
that create a warm, welcoming space for them, chilling out. Let them chill out, give them a lot of snacks because they love to eat, and get them to know slowly.
Hmm.
Oh, we're not bombarding and putting ourselves there, but just
Mm.
being that around them, then I think we have a greater insight about what is happening in our teens' life.
Mm.
Slowly, like, I mean, we are there. We are a small part there. So, and if a friend has made a negative impression on us, we are uncomfortable with some of them, I think we can go a bit beyond that bias and be curious about that child and wondering what that child may be going through. Why
Mm.
is that? Or even what are our fears about it? Why is my child wanting to be with them? What is my child's need?
Mm.
And we can convey our concerns if it really comes to that huge concerns about physical harm or mental, harm, which can happen.
Mm.
And maybe create opportunities for our teenager to, connect with other groups, peer groups, with new activities, interests. And all in all, actually, we sometimes project fears. And when we look 20 years hence, I think most of their peers would have done well for themselves and been responsible adults. So, yeah.
And I was thinking, parents like tend to fixate on what influence is this child having on my child, but should they not also think my child could be having a positive influence on this one?
Hmm. Yes. I think sometimes parents are so overcome with fear
Hmm.
and we hold on to that fear and actually react or respond from that lens of fear, and hence the we don't see these positive aspects as you shared, Aryan. Very valid.
Parents and teenagers don't really agree on most things, and this leads to conflict. Would you say there are some common reasons for conflict among parents and teenagers? And in your opinion, how should it be handled without having there be too much drama?
Yeah, drama queen and all those words I hear. Conflicts arise because parents' needs and teenagers' needs clash with one another. A
Hmm.
fact. Because what is priority for parents need not be priority for them. And what are the common reasons? I'm sure you know that. Screen time, study time, clothes, having a routine, engaging in household chores. Oh my God, it's like eyes rolling there. Then social life,
Oh, yeah.
need to go out for parties, want to
Hmm.
stay out late nights, and and sleepovers and all
Hmm.
that. So
Hmm.
one thing through my 18 years with working with parents, seen that power and control just does not work with our children, younger or older. It's great short time. We get things done quickly.
Hmm.
We they do it because of fear, but
Yeah,
surely not for long.
it just leads to resentment later
Yeah,
on.
yes. And not for long. How long can you get them to do things what you want them to do? How
Hmm.
long can there be punishment, physical or otherwise? Um, when they become teenagers, they just say, okay. I've heard teenagers saying that I just want to finish off my studies and go away from here. So
Hmm.
do we really want that for our children? Do we want that connection all through, even beyond teenagehood, beyond when after they go separate ways? So uh, I think changing our perspective that they're manipulating us, trying to push my buttons,
Hmm.
they don't listen, they are so stubborn, to okay, they are trying to meet their needs through exploration, maybe freedom to choose, wanting autonomy. Those their developmental needs. And when we change our view on the teenager, we change how we respond. That is it. It's the connection from here to here. And I think that open communication, listening to their viewpoints, even being authentic. Okay, I'm quite worried. I'm concerned. I'm hassled about this. Sharing our expectations. However, in a way, okay, let's brainstorm this or problem solve to a workable solution. You know? One thing worked for me as a parent, and I say to everyone, have fewer norms for our teenagers. We had so many for our younger ones, but I think fewer ones that is collaborative and say what helps with you and what helps with for our family, you know, and bring in humor, lightness into the situation, because discipline doesn't need to be like so serious and rigid. And we have safe boundaries, of course. We are the adults in the teenage life. Safe boundaries, which is necessary for health and safety, physical safety, mental safety. How with empathy, giving choices. We validate their feelings of frustration when they cannot go out. No, I'm so sorry. I know you wish to be there. However, I think today this is what we're going to do. And yeah, we can hear their rant and rave, but I think create a safe environment to learn to handle conflicts. Actually, they learn to handle conflicts better when we collaborate in a manner and disagree in a manner that is respectful.
So again, I just wanted to just thank you so much for being here. It was like just a great experience to have you on here. I had learned just so much, you know. Not only like I felt like you were just saying things that I had been thinking all along. Not only that, you were telling me what I'm sure my parents think.
Yes. Thank you so much. And I'm happy to have shared my experiences, my understanding of parents and the teenagers. So I'm privileged to be here to be doing this. Thank you.
Thank you.